The MiniSTAR and BioSTAR use positive pressure, which gives you superior adaptation to your model, ensuring the accuracy and fit of your appliance. These machines can significantly reduce your lab expense by increasing the variety of appliances you can do in-house. Most of the technique videos in our Resource Center feature the BioSTAR because that's what we use in our commercial lab at Great Lakes. For most dental practices, the MiniSTAR is ideal. You can use the MiniSTAR to fabricate the same extensive variety of appliances that you can with the BioSTAR.
Survey model for distortion. The clinical crowns of the posterior dentition as well as the palatal area must be accurate. Prepare a model by filling holes with stone and defining anatomy with lab knife. A 13 mm expansion screw is often used for this appliance. A wax tab is removed when using the Lua brand screw. Identify the mid-palatal line on the upper model using a number 2 pencil. Apply liquid separator to the palate and crowns of teeth. With a hot wax spatula, apply wax over the active area of expansion screw. This will prevent acrylic from entering keyhole port. The separation of screw or center opening is to be parallel to the mid-palatal reference. Also, the threaded middle post protruding laterally is positioned near the second bicuspid region. Finally, the screw will be placed as deep as possible into palate while maintaining a 1 mm gap to tissue. Also, top of screw will be parallel to occlusal surface. The screw placement will be held by applying a thick buildup of acrylic resin. Using the salt and pepper technique, the resin is applied to the center of the palate. Apply layers of polymer powder and monomer liquid to build up foundation that will hold screw position. The higher the screw is suspended off base of palate, the more resin will be needed. Make sure screw is at least 1 mm away from palatal tissue. Apply a light dusting of polymer powder to thicken resin foundation. Then place expansion screw onto resin buildup with expansion screw arrow facing heel of model. Align center opening of screw with middle of palate and top to occlusal surface of right and left sides of posterior dentition. Stabilize screw by adding a few thick layers of resin. Finish with polymer powder. Check screw position before curing. Cure the acrylic in a heated Great Lakes pressure pot. Heat and pressure are preset at 120 degrees Fahrenheit and 20 psi. A small amount of water is within the pot but kept below the inside stand height. Models are not submerged. After 15 minutes of cure time, the model is removed from the pressure pot. Liquid separator is reapplied to the dentition only. No separator should contact acrylic or screw area. The model with screw is placed into pellet cup. Adjust pellet level to align gingival margin to the cup's rim. Apply pellets around model to fill gaps. Remove excess pellets around model with brush. No pellets should be within palate and along posterior dentition. Also, pellets should be removed from the cup's rim. A 3 mm thick clear splint biacryl disc is used. Peel the packaging foil from each side of this material. Secure the disc to the pressure chamber with the clamping ring. Enter the heating time of 90 seconds into the MiniSTAR or code 233 into the BioSTAR machine. Before heating cycle begins, prepare clear monomer within a small resin mix cup. Swing the lamp over the clamp material to start the heating cycle. With 40 seconds remaining in the heating cycle, mix polymer powder to monomer liquid in small resin mix cup. Resin mix should be maple syrup consistency. With about 20 to 30 seconds remaining in the heating cycle, apply resin mix over screw and harden acrylic. Heating cycle and applied resin process should end simultaneously. Once heating cycle is ended, swing lamp to back of machine. Rotate chamber over pellet cup and lock chamber in place to start forming, cooling, and acrylic curing process. Once forming and cooling process has ended, release air pressure. Then unlock chamber and clamped material. Rotate chamber to left to open. Remove model and form material from pellets. Knock off excess pellets on plastic with knife handle. Prior to formed plastic removal from model, a rough outline of appliance is cut out using a 3/4 inch lightning disc with a lab handpiece. Starting at the outer edge of disc, cut plastic approximately 1 to 2 millimeters behind the last posterior tooth on each side of the arch. Then remove back plastic. Then cut plastic at pellet model junction and remove outer part of the disc. Pry off plastic from model with lab knife. Try to remove plastic level to model. Most likely the anterior teeth will break off model. They are not needed for fabricating this appliance. A carbide cutting burr is used to remove excess anterior plastic. Cut plastic about 1 to 2 millimeters in front of the first bicuspids bilaterally. A carbide taper burr is used to trim the anterior acrylic to the mesial of the first bicuspids. Also scale up the facial acrylic to the gingival crown contours along the posterior segment. The back of the appliance is trimmed to the distal end of the last tooth on each side of the arch. From here, the plastic is tailored 5 to 7 millimeters anteriorly towards the middle of the pallet. All trimmed areas are rounded using the carbide taper burr. A reference line is drawn on the plastic through the center of the screw to locate center cut. This line should also follow the mid-palatal reference. A 7/8 inch diameter lightning disc is used to cut into the center screw reference. Make sure to cut plastic and not metal screw body. Then use the carbide cutting burr to expose center keyhole of screw. Insert the expansion screw key into the screw hole and activate towards back of appliance following arrow on screw body. Incorporate about 10 activations to open center cut. Using the carbide cone burr, blend and round center cut. Appliance will be finished with screw in open position. All trimmed acrylic surfaces will be smoothed using a sandpaper mandrel. A 3 to 4 inch strip of 150 grit sandpaper is removed from its roll and slid into the center slot of the mandrel. Use light pressure against acrylic when trimming these surfaces. The appliance is ready for the finishing process. A medium grade pumice is mixed with water to a mud pie consistency. Then a plastic center rag wheel is moistened and placed on the threaded mandrel using low lathe speed. Pumice is placed on the appliance and then pressed to wheel. Smooth trimmed acrylic using this technique. Once acrylic is smooth from the pumicing process, rinse and dry the appliance. Place a 4-inch loose muslin buff onto the threaded chuck on the low-speed quick chuck lathe. Apply triply polish to the wheel. This coarse polish removes fine scratches left behind from pumicing. Press the appliance lightly against the wheel to apply the triply polish. Place a 4-inch loose muslin buff onto the threaded mandrel on the low-speed quick chuck lathe. Apply Fabuluster polish to wheel. This polish shines the plastic. Press the appliance lightly against the wheel to apply the Fabuluster polish. Once polished, the appliance is scrubbed clean with liquid dish soap and warm tap water. Then dry appliance. Finally, close screw to original position. Insert key into hole and activate towards front of the appliance. Seat the appliance onto the model to ensure fit.
These technique videos, along with the other information on the Resource Center, can show you how to get the most from your machine and how to ultimately take control of your lab bill. Maximize the potential of your MiniSTAR.